Praise the Lord. My name is Chanel Jackson. Certainly an honor to be here. Thank you, Tiffany, for such a comprehensive report from SimCog. And Tiffany really set so much forward for us. I want to take a few minutes, though, to give honor where honor is due. First to Reverend Anthony and to Donnell. Thank you for having me, and BJ, and then to my colleagues here in transportation. I'm a former state lawmaker. Now blessed to have the opportunity to work on regional transit, which is certainly exciting. As Tiffany said, 40 years in the making, 22 times the legislature tried to get it done. And I was, privileged to be one of the members that had an opportunity to cast a vote in support of it. Having said that, my job, I actually work for MDOT as the Director of Outreach and Strategic Relations for the RTA. As Tiffany said, the RTA doesn't have dedicated staff yet, so I'm sort of on loan from MDOT, but only working on this project. And my job is to work to tell the community story, to meet with as many organizations like this, like the Allies, as possible, all the way down to block clubs on the 4 corridors that are outlined in the law, and I'll talk to you about those in a second, and really just connect people to what the RTA's goals are, and take back from those organizations what their heart is, what they'd like to see a regional transit authority do, what they'd like to see transportation look like for our region in the future, and carry that message to our team, and then also to the members of the board. So that's what I do every day. I want to now focus on just a few things. I'm going to look down and read to you, but I want to talk to you about a few things. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything that I think is important. But first thing let me do is tell you that the RTA is a 10-member board, and let me tell you now who those members are and who appointed them. Paul Hilligans is the governor's appointee, and he serves as chair, and he does not have a vote, but he chairs the RTA. Lisa Franklin is the city of Detroit's appointee. Mark Gaffney, who, by the way, Lisa Franklin, amazing advocate for the city of Detroit and for riders in general that have disabilities. Her organization, her nonprofit that she runs, is called WOW, and they do amazing things. She's also on the board of DDOT's LAC. So then we have Mark Gaffney. Mark, we know, is with the Teamsters, and he worked forever, I think, is the president of the AFL-CIO. We have Dr. Ivory, who's also a Wayne County appointee. Dr. Ivory is president of Wayne County Community College. We've got Liz Gerber from Ann Arbor. She's the Washtenaw County appointee. She is a professor at the University of Michigan. You've got Richard Murphy, who is also from Washtenaw County. Richard is over at the Suburban Alliance, Suburbs Alliance, exactly. And he has had a focus on transportation for them, and is degreed in transportation. Roy Rose is from Macomb County. Roy is a great guy, sort of an everyday Joe. He owns his own business, I think, in engineering. And really, the Macomb County executive really picked sort of everyday people from Macomb County to serve. So Roy hadn't done much in transportation, but he is eager to learn and is a strong leader. Julie Gotti is also from Macomb County. She is serving now as president of the Macomb County Bar Association. She's just sort of an everyday attorney. She told me the other day that, I'm taking less cases because I want to focus and learn more about transportation issues and be more of a voice. Matt Wergow is the Oakland County appointee. Matt was the director of SMART for 13 years, or the president of the board for SMART. He also worked under Reagan as an appointee at the FTA. And Stephen Potter. Stephen Potter is an attorney from Oakland County who has focused on transportation issues. So you've got a great sort of diverse group that are serving, that have different backgrounds, that are serving on the board. But Obviously, the goal of the RTA is what they're tasked with, and I want to read this to you specifically so I don't say anything out of turn. But they're tasked with coordinating existing transit networks, so that's DDOT, SMART, the People Mover, and then also the Ann Arbor Transit Authority. And also seeking state and federal grants to implement high-speed bus that we heard Tiffany talk about, so the BRT, and really just work to coordinate efforts throughout the region. One of the major things that the RTA is working on, what we can control, what we can do right now, whether BRT ever happens, and it will, or not, is work to make sure that the routes in the current systems work better, that there's more coordination so that people are served better. And so that right now is a huge focus of board members as they have started their committee hearings and began their process. Also, let me let you know that all actions taken by the RTA must be approved by a majority vote, including the creation of the BRT system. So they've got to vote to sort of implement although all of these things are happening, they have to vote to implement BRT before it could happen. Certain actions of the board would require a supermajority vote, so 7 out of 9. And those two things, according to the law, are placing the question of a levy or an assessment on the ballot. Tiffany spoke about that. Obviously, we need to be able to fund the RTA and to fund BRT and all the things that we think about when we think about what transit should look like in the future. Obviously, those things are going to cost. And so we're going to have to pass a revenue stream. We hope to be able to have something on the ballot in 2014. But in order to be able to even move forward with having an assessment on the ballot, the authority is going to have to vote, and it's going to have to be a supermajority of members voting to even go in that direction. And then also it requires supermajority of members if we want to place the question of approving a motor vehicle registration tax on the ballot either. So obviously the lawmakers recognize that in their creation of the Regional Transit Authority, I can't talk today, that, you're talking about taxing 4 counties. There need to be a great consensus that this is the direction that we want to go in and not just a majority vote. A couple other things that the law requires. The law requires that the RTA adopt a budget within 90 days of their first meeting. And so you've got the Finance Committee already working to make that happen. They've also got to hire a CEO and necessary support staff, I believe within 90 days. And individual members would be prohibited under the law from hiring support staff for their personal needs. They also have to establish a website that includes a budget, progress on any projects or fairs or coordination efforts. They also have to create a performance dashboard. And all of these things must be established within 120 days of the first meeting. And so the lawmakers' goal here was to make sure that this experience is very transparent, that people have an opportunity to see every step of the way where we are, what members of the RTA are thinking about. The other thing that the law requires is that a Citizens Advisory Committee is created. And that's the project that I'm working on right now with the board and the Planning Committee, specifically creating the Citizens Advisory Committee, which is specifically outlined in the law. 40% of the members have to be people who have disabilities, people who use regional transit or transit, people who are seniors, thank you, that's what I'm trying to say. The law specifically outlines what those people from the labor community, people from the faith-based community, and people from the business community have to be, according to the law, have to have a seat on the Citizens Advisory Committee, whose job is to advise the board on what they believe progress looks like and things that they should be incorporating. We also have written out that we believe that there is space for the Citizens Advisory Committee to advise on funding mechanisms and finance and those things. Also, the law requires that a public transportation provider Advisory Council is created. So obviously, the RTA, the lawmakers recognize that, members from the RTA, in theory, could be, everyday folks, right, who represent their county or their city. Well, there are people like Triette who've been doing transportation for a very long time. People who have a voice and who need to be heard in this process. And so there is a public transportation provider advisory council that the law mandates. And that'll be, I believe, 2 members from each It could be the director of the transit organizations, the providers, or it could be one of their appointees or 2 of their appointees that serve. So also the RTA is annually going to be audited by an independent firm, further effort and transparency, and then they also have to file a report with the state legislature. And so those are some of the things that the law requires. I would encourage everyone here to come to our board meetings. Right now, our website is linked to SEMCOG's website, so you can go to SEMCOG and click on something for the RTA, and you'll be able to see contact information for me and for the board members, and find out when we're meeting. We actually have a meeting on Wednesday. One of our goals is to have meetings throughout the region. And so our first meeting is going to be at Macomb Community College, or our first board meeting outside of Detroit is going to be at Macomb Community College. The address is online, and it'll be at 2 o'clock Wednesday. With that, I'll sit and let the others come forward, but I'll be glad to take questions as we go forward. Thank you.